working on getting everything set up. Woohoo! So I am so glad to have you here today. The idea, insight, or sales secret you need for massive impact is just moments away. Absolutely. You know what it is. It's time to get more clients. Hello and welcome to Get More Clients. I'm Lynn Whitbeck. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to ignite winning sales because most are chasing down leads, lack client retention, conversion, and profit. Now, the mission of this show is to share Fortune 500 sales secrets to help you open the vault to your greater business success. Now, I really want to talk about this, what we're going to talk about today. But first, I want to sort of set the setting, the scene, as you will. You're in a networking virtual meeting room and you're doing breakout rooms. You're having to introduce yourself. You're live at an event, at a conference or a trade show. Or once again, it could be a networking event. It could be Toastmasters. You need to introduce yourself. Do you ever sort of stumble over what it is you do and you just start to, it's just the same old blah, blah, blah? Think about it. What's going to really set you apart and demonstrate in a very few words, in 18 seconds or less, who you are, what you do, who you serve, and why it matters? You know, again, really incorporating that client why. And for those of you who've been there, who sort of, or every time it's something different, it just doesn't roll off your tongue, you're stumbling over yourself, this is going to be a great show for you. Now, last week I shared, is your desire to be liked hurting your sales results? And today I will be discussing your message mess, how to share what you do succinctly. And those first 60 seconds establish who you are, what you do, and reveal your genuine uniqueness. Now, I have what is called an intromercial. Now, this is not mine. I should say it is my intromercial. Let's be clear about this. However, it was the brilliant Jane M. Powers who I worked with to create this. This is her intellectual property. And it's an intromercial. And it's designed to communicate who you are, what you do, and the transformational impact you create in 18 seconds or less. So I use this in both its entirety and I use just that first sentence, which I did at the beginning of the show. So let's go through this. I'm going to do the entirety. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to ignite winning sales because most are chasing down leads, lack client retention, conversion, and profit. So I help eliminate the lengthy, chaotic sales cycle to ignite your sales and unleash lasting profits. Bottom line, don't make this harder than it has to be. Sales should be a win-win. Now, that is the entirety of an intromercial. And if you had a stopwatch, you would have noticed it went really quickly. Now, I don't always use the whole thing. Often I use the very first sentence because it does describe who hires me. So who do I work with, what I do, and why they work with me. So let's go through it. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me. So I use the word hire me. This is something that Jane really hounds on everyone and trains us. You're not a volunteer. People hire you. They pay you for your expertise. So let's go back. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to ignite winning sales. So that's what I do. I help ignite. They hire me to ignite winning sales. See, because most are chasing down leads, lack client retention, conversion, and profit. So these are some of the big pain points that the people that I work with encounter. They are constantly chasing down leads. They're just always looking for, the next, like they need more leads, or they need to find more prospects so they can get more clients. They may also lack client retention. That's a very specific problem. And they have trouble getting people across the closing, the end zone, right? They have trouble closing the sale, the conversion, and they may be leaving way too much money on the table. They're underselling their services and expertise. So it really encapsulates a number of pain points for my ideal client in that one sentence. And that's all I have to use, is that one sentence. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to ignite winning sales because most are chasing down leads, lack client retention, conversion, and profit. Now, there is a whole lot of theory that goes into what Jane put together with the intromercial, and I'll be sure to tag this down below so that you can take a look at it. And you can reach out if you choose to get your own intromercial. Yeah, I have to say, I highly recommend it. And here's why. When you meet someone for that very first time, you only have those 60 seconds to a couple of minutes when they're forming an impression and a decision of you right then and there. So that perception and that impression that they have, when you're doing the I really don't know what I do, and you're all over the place and you just sort of drone on, their eyes glaze over, right? But if you can do it succinctly with exactly what you do, who you help, the transformational impact, and the why, it communicates. It's a powerful punch. It's like people immediately can grasp, like, okay, wow. Now, this doesn't mean that you're going to then go on and on about yourself. You always want to pivot to the other person. So they've invited you to tell them who you are. Now you want to ask about them, and you want to begin that conversation, and you want to open the conversation in a way that you can find common ground. And one thing you can do is tell me about you. And that's a very broad way. They may see where they take it. And at the end, say, hey, if there's something that you can pick up on, or there's common ground, or something that, I know that person too. Where did you meet? When did you meet? How long have you known them? There's different things that could come up in the conversation that you'll want to pounce on. But if that doesn't happen, the next piece that I always like to use, and I've shared this before, is if you could be anywhere else, where would you be? What would you be doing? And who would you be with? So this really, especially in a professional setting, is sort of, people sort of take a step and go, oh, wow. I mean, that's a unique thing to ask me about. And it's speaking directly to something that, like, well, where would they be doing? What else? I mean, what's a passion? What's something that you're interested in? What's something they like? What else would they be doing? I mean, where would they be and what would they be doing? Well, who would they be with? So it's going to give you a whole bunch of information in that answer. And it's going to actually open the doors about who they are. And it allows you to look for and find some areas of common ground or areas of interest. Like, oh, wow, you like to go hiking in Yosemite with your dog. Well, tell me more. What are your favorite trails? Where do you usually start from? What's been your favorite trip? I mean, it just opens up a whole world. Where else have you gone? Is that definitely are there places that you'd like to go that you haven't yet? I mean, it opens up a whole world of conversation. And throughout all of this, you want to set them at ease. You're not going to be asking prying questions that are uncomfortable, but things that light them up, that they smile, that they get engaged and energized in how they're responding. So this is really such an important piece about building rapport, that natural curiosity to learn more about them as a human being, because it's a relationship, a nascent relationship that you're establishing. And this is also ties back into as you expand the conversation, because they will want to reciprocate. They're going to want to know more about you. And especially if you can pick up on something that there's a commonality, you can talk about it. You can also then pivot the conversation back to what brought you here today. What's the most fascinating session that you've attended today? What's a golden nugget that you've already picked up that you're going to be applying in your business? Things like that can also spark more of a conversation around the event that you're both attending, whether it's in person or virtual, or how you two connected, like you were introduced by someone else. How did you know Leslie? You know, you know, use this piece to then pivot the conversation back to a business setting and get more information. Now, this is really another piece that I love. It's the art of small talk, right? Because you're setting people at ease so they'll start conversing more openly. And I highly recommend The Art of Small Talk by Deborah Fine. It's a great book. And it really helps you manifest who you are and be present, knowing that they're just as nervous or scared or feeling awkward as you do. And instead, you're really looking for that area where you can converse and both have an energized and engaging conversation. Now, as you pivot back to your business, the reason that so many people have what I would call a hot mess in their messaging, it's really pretty straightforward. They've never taken the time to dive into their client why. They are so focused on themselves and what they do and how they do it. They haven't reverse engineered that into their client why. What does their client want, need, or lack? Why does it matter to them? So they can. Understanding your client why, your client thinking, what's going on in their head, what their motivations are, what their emotions are that are wrapped up around whatever the problem or solution they're seeking. These are absolutely critical factors to having a conversation that's going to further connect with this prospect. It's going to allow you to discover if they're a good fit for you, a good potential fit, because it's still the nascent early parts of the conversation. But you're going to be able to ascertain through your questions, what's going on in their world, and what are those pain points that they're experiencing. As I said, some of the people I'm working with, they're spending so much time chasing down leads and they're asking for, I need more leads. I need more leads. It's not that you need more leads. I'm sorry. It's just not. The honest truth is connecting with the leads that you have, making sure that they're quality leads, that they align with your prospects why, with what you do and how you serve them and the transformational impact you can create for them. And then guiding them along their journey to become a client. So when you step back and you focus on that client why and the client thinking and their perspective, first of all, It helps you frame the questions that you're going to ask. It helps you tune in to pieces and say, well, tell me more about that. When you listen and you really use your talking to a minimum, you listen at least 80% of the time, your potential prospect is going to tell you everything you need to know. Right? And you're going to be able to further get the conversation. And by listening, they're also going to be able, they'll tell you about what they're dealing with or what they're facing or what they're looking for. So this messaging mess, it delves back to not understanding your client why and your client thinking, their emotions and motivations. And then not diving in and really building out your ideal client persona. And I really want to be clear, in some cases, you're going to have more than one ideal client persona because you may sell to different types of, if it's a B2B, different types of departments. You could sell into operations or purchasing or human resources or risk management. There's different entities, right? Or silos. However, there's going to be things that are the common core issues that they're trying to address. Either a problem in their business, something they want to optimize, something that's just causing a lot of disruption and gaps, friction within their operations or their business, whatever that happens to be. And if it's personal, there are things about their values. These are the commonalities, the values that they have. I'm all about relationships, building long-term relationships with my prospects who become clients and the clients who become repeat clients and who become referral partners. And this is about the relationships. If someone that I'm talking to does not value relationships, it's not too hard to pick up on that pretty quickly. It may not be in the first or second conversation, but certainly you're going to peel back that onion and discover that they're a one call closer. They're a one and done. And they just it's like a notch in their belt and they're on to the next thing. They're not into it or interested in any kind of a long-term professional relationship. So when you have your own value set and you understand the value set of your ideal client avatar, how they intertwine, how they connect. This is the building block for your messaging. You've got to have this in place. You've got to understand this. If not, it's like you're throwing spaghetti against the wall and you're seeing what sticks and you're doing that. You just don't want to do that. So going into your client thinking, what's their big why it matters to them, what's keeping them up late at night, what's the thing that they just want to have solved and off their plate so they can because that's really what people buy. They buy the goal, the dream, the aspiration, the initiative that they're trying to accomplish. They want to get done. And that is what you're selling, is to make that transformational impact from where they are to where they want to be, where they need to be. So that's how you tie in your messaging, by understanding your client thinking, their big why, and their persona. Really diving into the psychographics of their values and their beliefs. Because these are the things that remain constant. Demographics change. Psychographics have a real foundation in the essence of who that person is. So when I talked about relationships and how important they are, right? That's a core value that I have, a core value that everyone should be treated with compassion, dignity, and respect. mean, that's somewhere I'm going to connect with other people on, because that's a core value that we share. And when your values align with your ideal client avatar, you're going to be so much better positioned to message them in a way that has resonance, that truly attracts and connects and guides the conversation forward. So we started out with really, how do you begin the conversation? And that intromercial is a key piece of putting that together, of beginning the conversation on the right foot, in the right way. But before you can do that, you have to know your client thinking and your client persona, so that you can put the messaging together correctly in those 18 seconds of that intromercial. So start with, what do they want, need, or lack? Why it matters to them, so they can. What's keeping them up late at night? What's a monetizable pain? Why it matters to them? What's in it for them? Right? Go through all these things. What's their normal day look like? What are they going through? And what is that big goal and dream that they want to achieve? Right? And what are those values that they hold dear, that you can connect with, that matter to you as well? And those emotions, don't forget the emotions. We're all human animals, right? We're driven by our emotions that are tied with why this matters to them. And so they can. What are the emotions that are tied to that, and their motivations? Now, with this foundation, you can create an amazingly rocking intromercial with Ms. Jane M. Powers. And the next time you go to your event, and whether it's virtual or in person, you're going to be able to exactly say in one sentence who hires you, why they do it, and the transformational impact that you create in one sentence. And if you have time to do all 18 seconds, it's going to give them a whole lot more information. Wow. Thank you so much. This is all about helping you find your messaging that's really going to resonate with your clients, and how it's going to move you forward to make that immediate spark. So I'd love to hear what your biggest takeaway was from this episode. And, it's important to share the things you love. And if you loved this episode, please give us a 5-star review. It really helps keep the show and the podcast coming to you regularly. Also, if you want to get more sales strategies to grow your business, make sure you subscribe right now. Today, I explored your message mess, how to share what you do succinctly. And the key is for you to implement these steps to stop wasting time, energy, and resources. If you want to get results even faster, I invite you to download my sales strategy checklist at petitetoqueen.com/checklist. Now, next week on Get More Clients, yes, it's called Get More Clients, I will be discussing why you run if you ever get pitched risk reversal. This has been Lynn Whitbeck, host of Get More Clients, and I will see you next time.